Welcome to the Business of Hollywood podcast. Entrepreneurs have a lot to learn from working actors, which make up less than 10% of the actor community. Working actors in Hollywood need to build resilience in the face of rejection, network to grow themselves as a business, market themselves, and sell themselves. Entrepreneurs have to do all those things also. Today, we discuss why it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. That's networking at its finest. If you want to succeed at networking, you need strategies for success. I look at how to develop them in this episode with my guest, Jodie Bentley. Jodie is an LA based actor, audiobook narrator, and branding/career coach for actors. She has over 170 credits as an actor in TV, film, theater, commercials, and audiobooks. She's worked with Apple TV, Netflix, Hulu, ABC, CBS, and many more. We dive into topics including the 3 things you need to know about yourself before going into a networking room, how to go about networking without feeling pushy or salesy, how to nurture relationships once you start building them, the one thing above all else that you need to do to be successful at networking to grow your business, and other golden nuggets of advice. You're going to love this show. Jodie, thank you for making the time to be on the Business of Hollywood. I appreciate you.
Of course. So glad to be here.
We're going to dive into one of my favorite topics, and from what I know about you, one of your favorite topics, networking, from the working actors approach, also how it connects to also entrepreneurship as a whole. Heck, if you can make it in Hollywood with all those odds, you can make it as an entrepreneur. Before we get into all of that good stuff and some of the tips and tricks and strategies, when it comes to networking, why is it so near and dear to you? What is your story with learning about networking?
Oh, geez. How much time do we have, Mark? You know, so in my 20s, right? I went to NYU, I went to Tisch for acting. And in my 20s, I thought that I would graduate from college and just be famous. I thought I'd be on Broadway by the time I was 21. I thought life would be amazing. And I thought my talent would just take me there and I would soar, you know? And when I graduated, it was hard. It was really hard. And I floundered for probably about 8 years. And it took me 8 years to realize, oh, this is not a go-it-alone business. Oh, I get to network and reach out and be in service and be in community. Oh, I get to understand my product and who I am and what I sell. So when I do network, people go, oh, I get it. I get who you are. I get what you do. And I know XYZ who can help you. So it took me a good 8 years to figure that out. But it just got to a point where things weren't clicking and I was like, what am I doing? So I read every freaking business book that I could read, right? On branding, sales, networking, like Never Eat Alone, all those books. I read every single freaking one. And I was like, oh, I get it. As an actor, I'm a business owner. As an actor, I'm a CEO. I am a COO. I am a CMO. I'm a CFO. I am all the O's, right? And then that's when I really started taking real world business principles and applying it to self. But networking for sure was like, yeah, I would talk with other actors and oh, I'm networking. Look at me. But it wasn't. I didn't have strategy. I didn't have focus. I didn't think I was ready. I didn't feel like I belonged in the bigger room. So, all this mindset and everything sort of got in the way of networking. But, cut to now where I am now, I'm producing a feature film and it's connections I made 15 years ago that are supporting me. My director I've known for 13 years. My other producer I've known for 15 or 17 years. My writing partner I've known for 7 years. It's like these people that I've networked with years ago and nothing happened. Nothing happened in those 15 years, but now's the time. Now's why I met them, right? So I don't know if that answered your question. Yeah. I think I got off on a tangent, but I do, I think it took me a long time to realize that relationships are what is going to move the needle, and not relationships in what can you do for me, but how can we support each other? And what does that look like? And how can we be in community? And yes, I think, there's, as an actor, sometimes there's a lot of me, I, what can you do for me? And I think it's a lot of business owners. Even when I started my business, it was like, how can I move forward? How can I get people to cross promote? How can I help get other people to help me? And it's like, that's not what it's about at all, right? And we were just saying that talking about seeds and planting seeds and watering seeds. And sometimes you water those seeds to sprout later, and sometimes you're helping someone else water their seeds. And it's all working together.
This is awesome. If someone's watching or listening right now, and let's say they are, and I'll use air quotes for people just listening, networking in air quotes, where does the strategy start? Where do you go from being in just a bunch of random room or a bunch of rooms or random rooms at the worst case scenario to actually strategically networking where you feel like you're getting some kind of, how do you get traction with networking and not feel like you're just running around meeting a ton of people?
Oh, totally, right? We've all been in those rooms. I've been in those rooms recently where people come up to me, they just go, hi, and hand me their business card and like say 5 words and walk away. I'm like, I am not reaching out to you. Like, I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am. There's no merge. There's no connection. There's no curiosity. So I think first and foremost, for me, I think everything clicked for me networking wise, and it's what I teach actors, is understand self, know thyself, know who you are, know how you're perceived, the roles you play, the themes of the stories you tell best. As a business owner, what are your values? How are you serving people? What's the legacy you want to leave? I talk a lot about that with my actors. Like, you get to know those things about yourself. It's so much easier to go into a room when you know who you are and what you want and where you're going than when you don't. So if you know that, it just makes, first of all, networking so much easier. And one thing I always talk about is, because networking can feel really salesy, right? And a lot of people hate that word. So how can you go do something if you hate the word? So I always say networking is enriching your support system. So I'm not going out networking tonight. I'm going out to enrich my support system. And that just feels so much better. And the concept of sales, I'm not going out to sell myself. I'm going out to share who I am and share my gift and learn about other people's gifts. So I think for me, that's the foremost thing. Know thyself, and then approach it as community and being in service and sharing. And, there's going to be some people that you're going to help that aren't going to help you till 15 years later. And there's going to be some people that are going to help you in the moment. And then there's going to be some people that you won't talk to at all. And then 5 years later, they're like, come do a reading of my play, right? Like, you never know. You never know. But I do think that's where people get hung up in networking, is they go, okay, I'm going to go out. I'm going to meet everybody in the room. My goal is to like close 3 deals or get 3 people to say they're going to call me in for something. And that's just not how it works, right? I mean, no matter what business we're in, it's about building those long-term relationships and approaching it from that place.
I love that. And I love what we had mentioned before about planting seeds. Curious. Yeah. You have to get some help eventually, and you want to be in service to others too. Yeah. How do you do a balancing act between, you don't want to come across as salesy and too demanding, but you can't just be all out there about, it's just all about you, nothing about me. Where's that balance between you're giving and helping support other people and you're getting help and support yourself without being salesy? Yeah.
It's such a great question. Yeah, I think, especially coming from the acting side, I think most actors pitch out of the gate too hard and too fast. Right? I think you've got to earn the right to pitch, right? Same thing when you're marketing to somebody, if you're a business owner, like, you're not going to pitch them right out of the gate. You're going to earn that right to pitch, and you're going to learn about them and get to know them and understand their pain points, right? So as an actor, when I'm going into a networking situation, I want to understand about that person. And there is a balance there, because it can be all one-sided, where I'm going to learn about you. Yay, I can help you. And then it's never reciprocated, right? But I think there, again, if you know yourself and know what you want and you have confidence within that, I think it all starts with curiosity, right? Like being really curious in that person and who they are. Because it's really shitty. Can I swear? Is it okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just really shitty when you go to a networking event and you're talking to someone and they're like, and they're just like looking over their shoulder, like trying to find the next person to talk to. And you're like, hold on, I'm right here. So I think when you can be really curious about someone and you can make someone feel seen and heard, they're going to remember that. They're going to remember how you made them feel. And if you can make someone feel seen and heard, because gosh, we don't get that a lot anymore. Everyone's in their phones and on their whatever, and no one's paying attention to real human beings in real life. Mm-hmm. So if you can really make someone feel seen and heard, they feel like, right? It's almost like a relief, a sigh of relief to them, where they will open up to you. At the very least, they're going to remember you. And when you email them the next day and go, oh my God, I loved learning about your interest in textiles. I don't know. They're like, wow, they really listened to me. Yay. Oh yes, let's have coffee. And like, you never know what is going to come from that. But for me, it's just the curiosity will take you really far. Right. And that there'll be a time to turn it on and go, oh, and I do this. Right. Oh, I agree with you because I'm this. Right. You're always looking for the merge. But I do think it starts with curiosity. It's just such a different feeling when someone approaches you and is curious about who you are, as opposed to, hi, I'm an actor and I'm a filmmaker and I have a film in production and blah, 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 blah. Right. And you're like, okay, but okay, tell me something else. Right. Lead with your heart, not just your job title.
You've mentioned it a few times. I'd like to rewind it a little bit to before you walk in the room. You said it, know yourself. Could you unpackage that? What is it, asking like self-reflective questions? Is it journal? When you say in the quotes, know yourself, what do you need to know about yourself before even going into a room?
Yeah, for me, that's multifaceted. I mean, again, a lot of what I teach and talk about with actors, and God, same goes with entrepreneurs, right, is branding and understanding your brand and your place in the industry, how you're perceived in the industry. What is that product that you're selling? That if you can know that, if you know that and can talk about that and verbalize that, people will see it and they'll get you instantaneously. So I think that's part of knowing yourself is knowing where you fit in the industry, right? Knowing the stories that you tell best. But the other part, I think, of know thyself is know your own bullshit. Like, know what gets in your way, right? Know the limiting beliefs that pop up and the FOMO that appears and those deep limiting beliefs and wounds that can pop up. Like, one of my limiting beliefs is I'm not enough. Right, that stemmed from childhood. So sometimes right before I go into an event, I'm like, oh God, like that can come up. Like, right, I think these limiting beliefs that we have, or these deep wounds we have, they're part of our DNA, but we can learn to turn the volume down on it. But we got to be aware of what it is first. So I think understanding like, that's just that thing. Oh, I know what that is. I don't believe that anymore. I can move forward, right? So I think it's knowing what gets in your own way, knowing your own belief system, but also knowing who you are as a human. And then adding a third part to that, knowing your goals and what do you want and why are you there, right? If you're there just to have a good time, cool. If you're there because there's 10 producers in the room and you have a film and you just want to talk to them and engage who might be the best one to pitch to later, right? Who's most interested thematically in what you have to sell. So I think it's those three things, right? Really understanding self from a mindset and belief system place, understanding brand, the product that you are, and then understanding really your own goals and making sure that what you're doing is in alignment with that.
I'd love to get into this and tell me if I'm on point and I'm tracking correctly. First, know yourself. And if I'm on point, would it be correct to say the next thing you have to know, and you touched on it a little bit, is you need to, at least I believe, if I hear you right, to know what rooms to be in. If you want to go out for a good time on a Friday night with friends, there's no judgment. Go out for a good time on Friday night with friends. But if you want to get produced and you want to sell a picture, would you unpack, do you have to know what rooms to be in the first place? Where does that stand with what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, no, I agree 1,000%, right? I mean, a couple of things, right? First of all, I live in Los Angeles, so even if I go to a bar on a Friday night, there's someone in the industry in that bar on a Friday night. Do you know what I mean? Like, you never know who you're going to meet and where. Like, you just never know. I've had crazy stories from clients of just like, oh yeah, I met this director out and then I got cast in a film the week after, like crazy things happen. So there's that. And I get, if you're not in a major market, that might not be the case. But it is, again, knowing what your goals are, knowing what you have. Like, for instance, I am, I'm an actor, but I'm also a writer and producing a feature right now. So in November, they had AFM, right, which is the American film market. So of course I went to the American film market. Of course I talked to distributors and sales agents and producers and put myself in the place to be able to network and move my film forward, right? And I got some really great contacts out of that. So it is just researching, okay, if my goal is more clients, where am I going to go to build more clients? If my goal is to expand indie film directors, well, I'm going to go to this film festival that's all about up and coming indie directors, watch some films and network and send DMs after, or whatever it is, right? So I think it is getting really clear on what you want to decide. What are the best rooms for you to be in to meet those people to forward that goal? For sure. For sure.
So once you start meeting people, let's talk about the watering the seeds part of it. You're meeting a lot of people. You bring it in. If I'm old school, so I'll say Rolodex, but whatever you want to call it.
I love it. Yes, let's do the Rolodex.
So you've built a Rolodex. It's like LinkedIn, but it sits on your desk for anyone wondering.
Yes.
How do you nurture relationships, again, without coming across with follow-up as hire me, hire me, hire me? What do you do to nurture relationships once you start building them?
1,000%. So when I deal with actors, I talk about like 3 tiers of building relationships. So you have like your targeted list of people, right? So I know I want to meet these casting directors, these producers, these directors. And so you're going to go to events where they might be, or go to a panel where they're speaking on, right? They're your targeted list of people. So you're going to focus on that. Then once you meet them, or you saw them speak, or you connected in some way, they go on your follow-up list. So you want to send a follow-up email the next day, right? You want to nurture it right away. Follow them on social, connect with them on LinkedIn, right? Do all the things, send them a thank you email. Maybe ask them to go out for a coffee or have a Zoom date, right? Or something, right? To continue the conversation. Oh, I loved what we were chatting about so much. Would love to hear more about your project. Can you hop on a Zoom for 30 minutes? That would be great, right? Framing it again, being curious about them. And then once you've done that follow-up to sort of solidify it, then they get moved into your maintenance list. And for me, a maintenance list is someone I'm going to follow up with once a quarter. So once a quarter, I could send an email. Oh my God, you just popped in my head. That event I met you at, that was so fun. You told me about a script you were writing. How is that going? Right? Again, making it about them. And then they email back, oh my God, I would love to get coffee. Or how's your career, right? And so you're staying top of mind with those people. So I think what happens a lot is people can be really good at building those relationships and maybe good at following up right away, but then crickets, right? They don't do anything. Or you might, not be good at starting. You might not be good at starting at all, but the few people you have, you might be really good at keeping in touch with. But I think it's that to really solidify the relationships you meet and then have the longevity of having that community, that following up and maintaining those relationships is key. And I think people get weird about it. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to keep nagging them. I don't want to keep reaching out." It's like once a quarter is nothing, right? If that's too much, twice a year. And how many? How does it feel when you get a text from someone? I was just thinking about you. You're like, that's so nice. People love that shit. They love that shit. So don't make it weird. You're making it weird. It's not weird at all. It's business, and that's how people connect with each other.
You move it along the spectrum of everything you just said. How do you know? I'm trying to think of the best way to ask it. How do you know how much networking to do? I mean, is there a time when you realize I should be more in a nurture phase? I need to and then take out that I was in a bar and I met a director and I got hired. As far as structured networking, going to events because of who's on the panel. Is there a point you scale back, or do you just keep it in high gear? You always need to be networking. What does that look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. I do think things happen in seasons. Right? Like for me right now, I'm in high mode networking because I got to get my feature film off the ground, right? So I need costume designers, production designers, I need investors, I need all these people, right? So I need to be in multiple rooms and building a community of people. So I'm in high gear with that. But then once I'm in pre-production and all those things are locked, and then I get to be on set and then I'm acting in this film, I'm not reaching out on a daily to network, right? I'm focused on my craft. I'm focused on building the project. So that's just an example of sort of like what's the ebb and flow in your business. I think though what happens is a lot of times people go, oh, I'll do that later. I'll do the networking later. It's like the last piece people want to do. So then you never get to it. But I think if you're honest with yourself, you're like, okay, I'm going to really do 2 coffee meetings a week for the next 2 months, right? And then reassess of where I am. And then what else do I need? What other context do I need? How else could I support somebody? Let me take a step back and send a bunch of emails now, right? Because it's that time in the quarter to do that. So I'm not forward facing, I'm doing the admin work. So I think it's just about really, again, knowing thyself, reassessing where you're at and paying attention to where you are with your goals in that moment and what is necessary there. right? It's like looking at the bottom line in your business. If you have a business and you know you need to make $15,000 a month in your business and you've only made $10,000 that month, okay, well, you're going to focus on finances and you're going to figure out how to close that gap, right? So if you have a goal and it's the end of the quarter and you wanted to hit a certain milestone by that quarter and you haven't, does it make sense to network? Is that the piece that you're going to use to fill the gap? So, what I say to my clients all the time is we get to take a 10,000-foot view on our careers. It's like we're going, and you're building, but then you got to take a step back and go, okay, how's it working? What am I missing? What do I have now? And what's most important to move the needle and move forward now? Mm-hmm. Right. And sometimes that's networking and sometimes it might not be. Sometimes it might be making money. Sometimes it might be I got to revamp my website or I got to focus on my marketing. So I think it's really important to have that assessment time built into your business as well.
Well, as you're planting the seeds, and you touched on it, but I think this point is worth driving home. Yeah. Can you unpack a little bit more? How do you, let's say the once a quarter contacts are not your best friends, but they're not just out, there's no reason to not connect with them, but say once a quarter, how do you explain how to reach out without being pushy?
Yeah. I mean, it's just being human, right? And I say this a lot, but I think sometimes it's like, what do you mean? I think we like to overcomplicate things, It's literally, oh my God, I just thought about you. Or, oh my God, I saw, I saw your name pop up on IMDb. Congrats on that new project. Would love to hear what's been going on. It's been a while and I would love to hear what's going on with you. Like, so it doesn't have to be crazy. And it can be, oh yeah, and I just had a call back for this and booked this thing. You could add that in there, right? Things are going good for me. I'm doing X, Y, and Z. Would love to reconnect more, right? So it gets to be super simple. Like you're not going to write 5-paragraph email about what's going on with you, but just like 2 or 3 lines, and I'm getting them, everyone gets so many emails. And if I can get an email and scan it and go, oh yeah, Mark, oh man, he launched a new podcast. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Hey, Mark, nice. Right. Then it's easy. Make their job easy to respond, but it's literally just being human. I think we overcomplicate it and start thinking about sales and thinking about pitching or closing the deal or blah, when it's just being human. People want to work with people they like. Yep. They want to work with people they like. And people who are passionate, right? If someone's like, yeah, my career's really not going great now and I'm really sad. Like no one wants to work with that person. They want to like, yeah, it might be tough, but I'm out there and I'm networking and I'm writing a script now and I'm doing these things. Great, right? So yeah, it's simple. I think it's really simple.
Well, covering all the bases, I'd like to know if someone's watching and listening and that so much sounds good. 2-part question. First part, if they're on the fence in general about networking, why would you say you should be networking?
Oh my God. Because we're not born into this world to be alone. We're born into this world to be in community, right? And if networking is still like an icky weirdo thing for you, just reframe it into community, right? And I think the big thing for actors and what I've learned is it's about community over competition, right? I think so many times actors won't network with other actors. They're like, oh, they're my competition. No, they're not. No, they're not. I'm my biggest competition, right? I'm my biggest competition because my mindset can derail me or not, right? I can get in my head and derail me or not, but I'm either right for the role or I'm not. Like, it's not about me against somebody else. Like, that doesn't exist. And I think when people go to networking things, they get weird. They come with all these preconceived notions. They might be, oh my God, this is my competition. They're going to pitch better than me, right? All these things when it's just about community. So if you're on the fence of it about networking, I think you're just thinking about it wrong. And I would invite you to go deeper to see what is stopping you from doing that, because it's probably just some deep-rooted fear, some kind of limiting belief. For me, for the longest time, I never felt like I belonged anywhere. As a kid, I never felt like I belonged. So like going into these rooms, I never felt like I belonged. So that was hard, right? So I had to really move through that. So I would just really start to identify what is keeping you from doing it. Because it's not just like put on your big boy pants and go, right? Because that's not going to last. That's not going to give you lasting results. So it's just digging deep of like what's coming up for you. And if it's fear, go and talk to one person. Just go somewhere and just talk to one person. And then next time, go talk to 2 people or even just one more person. Who cares, right? And the more you do it, the easier it will be. And the less you make it about you, the easier it will be.
And we have covered a lot of ground in a short period of time. Let's say someone's watching or listening, they've bought in, they get it. Whether it's
Yes.
reinforcing something you said or touching on something you didn't touch on yet. If you were to say, okay, you're all in, you want to be great at networking to grow your business, you're an entrepreneur, as an actor, you're in. At least do this one thing. At least do this one thing. What would you say?
Oh God, like three things came in my head. Uh, Show up even when you don't feel ready. It's not about being ready. It's about being willing. It's about willing to be in that space and willing to take a risk and willing to connect with somebody else. We're never ready. I never feel ready, right? But I think people show, when you show up, they're like, oh, they have it all together. They know what they're doing. Nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody has it all together. It's okay. Just be willing to be there. Don't worry about being ready. We're never ready.
This has been excellent. I appreciate you. And if people want to find you online, where's the best place or places to go?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Jodie Bentley, or at Actor Insider is my business for actors. And I'm on LinkedIn at Jodie Bentley, and you can find me at jodiebentley.com.
I appreciate you, Jodie. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mark.
And scene.
Awesome. Easy peasy.